Hello there! Last time you saw me paint a hull, and now I plan on proceeding with building a centerboard, or actually a sideboard. The sideboard will go in here, and it's not much space. It's actually about 2.5 centimeters between the side cover that I will make here and the hull. So it needs to be rather strong and tough to take any impact hits from hitting grounds and things like that. So I will make the sideboard out of steel plates that I will strengthen with glass fiber and epoxy. Of course you could weld something together, but I don't have any welding equipment, so that's out of the question for me. The steel plates that I have planned on using for this project are nothing fancy. It's like this, just 0.7 millimeter thick steel plates that you can buy for car projects and things like that. But when I strengthen these with the glass fiber, it will be strong enough, I'm thinking. So first I need to cut them to the correct size, and we will do that outside. And we are in a bit of a hurry because it will be the worst snowstorm ever hitting us soon. On the outside, I start with cutting the plate down to the size I need and move indoors again to check the cutting. I need to measure out the swing center before I cut further and transfer these measurements to the steel plate. After having done small adjustments cuts, I try it out again. I need to remove more material here in the front to make the swing. I do the adjustment just to realize it will be easier to drill the actual hole. I drill the hole small in the beginning to have some margin. Now I can make a simple compasses to draw the circle I need for the plate to swing. Also in the back end I need to find a circle to do the swing. A short meeting with the angle grinder, and it swings nicely. I redo the process with the second steel plate, and it also swings. I will need spaces between the plates to create stiffness and volume for water. So I plan how to place them before I start making them to size. Thin in the back end of the board. In preparation for gluing, I make some tracks in the plate and use alcohol to wipe off grease and dirt from the plate. Here I will use the thickest glass fiber I have. It's a 300 gram biaxial cloth. I also prepare with a little pre-shaping of the plate. I want a rounded, thicker leading edge, and the trailing edge I will leave thinner. I mix up the epoxy base I need and the hardener. I smear the pure mixture without any additive on the surface and lay down the cloth onto the pre-wetted surface, using the excess epoxy to wet out the cloth from the top, until I have a very well wetted cloth. I make a second batch that I thicken with cotton fibers and cut glass fibers about 6 mm long. I use this thick glue to set down the spacers into. It's hard to make the spacers stand up. To deal with that, I use some wood strips. It's a bit fiddling to get the spacers to stand, with the strips as support. But at last I get it all together and can call it a night. The day after I trim the result. Try how the two sides will fit together. Cut some glass for the other side and for covering the spacers from future corrosion before I glue all together with epoxy. For the cover I use thickened epoxy strengthened with cut glass, as this stays in place better on vertical sides. The day after I prepare for bonding. I smear thickened epoxy on the spacers and on the trailing edge sides and the receiving side of the spacers before I put the two sides together. On this side I can't use clamps, so I screw the plates together. And here I reach with the long gap clamp. In the next episode I plan on proceeding with the board. I will put glass on the outside of the whole board and cover the sides, but leave room for water to enter. That will make the board heavier in water and lighter on land. As this board build is highly experimental, you are more than welcome to leave comments and suggestions. And if you just found this episode entertaining, please give me a thumbs up.